Hey everybody, it's Bruno on NB, and today we're going to have a multicultural slang Italian meeting with the great one, Susie De Guisti from TGI Freedom. Susie, how are you doing? Are you ready?
I'm awesome. Thanks. Yeah, let's do this.
Are you sure?
Just a minute. Yeah, okay, let's go.
In our dialect, I'm a no joke. I'm a no joke. This is for real, right?
Yeah.
So let's get right to it, because on the thumbnail, we're going to have a lot of fun. Don't worry about it. And I take notes, so don't worry about anything like that. But our thumbnail over here, we'd like to get to it right away, is identity crisis for women. Okay, get to it. Solve that problem. We want to solve our problem, Susie, on my show right away so we can bullshit later.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. So what do you mean by identity? Obviously, but what do you mean by that? Your company does that, so.
Well, the identity crisis happens with women when they enter the 40s and 50s and even into the 60s, because all of a sudden we're not moms, full-time moms anymore, or we're still mothers, but now we're caregivers. There's a whole change that's going on. And then even in our careers, we may be let go because they're downsizing, but they don't really want the midlife women there because the younger ones are cheaper. It's that whole, now what? Who am I really? And I can go as far back as say that we never really know who it is that we are until we get to that midlife state, because that is when we put the time in to figure out who it is that we are. How do we go about that?
So TGI Freedom. Tell us about that, because obviously it's not something you dabble in.
It's not. No, I don't dabble in it. You know, TGI Freedom came about because when I started up my coaching business, I was trying to figure out a name that represented me first and foremost, but also that resounded with everybody else. And I was just sitting back and I'm just like, golly, you know what it would be like if we could just, live like every day was Friday, like TGIF. We're always working for Fridays, right? Because we're getting excited for the weekend. And I'm like, TGIF. Yeah, live each day as if it were Friday. So the TGIF for me actually stands for Towards Gainful Infinite Freedom, because that's what everybody is striving for in life. We're always looking for that freedom to do what it is that we want to do and be who it is that we are.
So how long you've been running TGI?
2 years.
Wow. Do you want to share what you did before?
I worked in law, corporate law,
that's
with
a natural
lawyers.
Transition.
Yeah, I went from serving lawyers. Because serving here at home wasn't enough. I had to do it at work too. No, I'm going to say, even though I learned lots with working with lawyers in the corporate world, but I also learned that I should never be in an office with type A personalities.
Well, the reason why I bring that up, we really did chit chat about this, and it can't all be serious, but this stuff is serious. Is that, go figure out. I don't want to be sarcastic, but it's can you imagine? Just not really. I have a couple of wonderful lawyers, and they're great people, but they're so in it that all of a sudden you just become, unfortunately, just Susie do this, Susie do that, and my client. It's always about somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you get that identity crisis. You forget what you're doing, then you go home, you do it over there. That's what you're talking about, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, because you can't really be the person that you are. Like, I know that I am a bubbly, chit-chatty, in your face, hey, what's going on? Like, let's go out and have coffee or whatever. And for me to sit there and look somber while I'm working away, that to me I was being an impostor of who it is that I really was. Did I enjoy the work? No, but I did it because I needed a job. And a lot of women are out there working a job because they have to, not because they want to.
Yeah, and I
Life.
guess why don't we talk about I guess the biggest problem. I just noticed that on my podcast I stretch a lot. Okay.
That's a
So
good thing. It
do you need to
makes you
stretch?
taller.
You need to
I don't need
stretch?
to stretch. No.
Okay. I like to stretch now. Let's talk about the biggest problem you and TGI Freedom, I guess, solve. Like, what's your number one? How do you know if I was, obviously a woman? Do you help men, or is it mostly women?
Mostly women. Yeah.
Okay. If I were a woman, what are the signs that I need to call you?
You are sad every day. You may be crying every day. You feel lost. You're not sure what you're doing in from day in to day out. You very little is making you happy at this time. Like, you don't see what's worth waking up tomorrow morning. And I hate to put it that way, but it's true for so many of us. It's just like, why get up when I could just stay here in bed? Nothing exciting is going to happen. That's when you need to pick up the phone and call.
And we're not talking about just work. Like, you go, Ma, I don't want to go to work.
No, everything in life. Everything in life. Is it your relationship? Is it your friendships? Is it how you're feeling about life in general, right? In the talk where we had met there on Saturday, I had mentioned that my depression, I said it didn't stem from me not understanding why or what. It stemmed from because I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think that I had the right to be happy. We have all these false beliefs that we've grown up with, that we make them the truth, and when they're not. And we live by those false beliefs, which does not make us expand to find the joy, the happiness that we are worthy of. So it dabbles in every single area of our life. I think the one thing I can say is that a lot of women will stay in a relationship, and I've done this myself, is because someone is better than no one. Who else is going to be out there? The mentality is, well, he's here. I get to do what it is that I want to do. Yeah, okay, he doesn't respect me 100%, but at least he's someone.
Yeah.
And again, that's that whole self-image and not loving ourselves enough to say, no, I'm not the name. It's time for me to be, be me and look for the love that I need and deserve.
Speaking of that, to go, what did you say in Italian? Tell everybody. Right? That means go away.
Yeah.
And take the mystery out of it. This is where I met you.
Yeah.
Great event, Heather Andrews and her team. And then if you go to 124, there you are. Normally, if they write an article about you in the magazines I used to read, you were going to jail. Okay. But this one here, like, you're in People magazine and I'm not an actor, I'm going to jail. But truthfully, at Womanition, what really struck a chord was your story. You were a speaker there, keynote, right? And then all of a sudden you use the word faccialong, right? And I go, oh, and if you really get to know me at these things, I went there to support Heather and her group, but I don't really go around and shake hands, kiss babies, but I had to come over to you and say, I loved that saying. Why don't you explain? I mean, that was just a throw in to what your message was, but do you want to share how you got here? Because Faccialonga was one of the.
Yeah, Faccialonga was because growing up at first generation Italian here, Canadian Italian, the girls were taught to do everything, right? You got to clean, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's always something to be done.
Yeah.
So at school, I'm typically happy because I'm with my friends. I'm learning and I'm doing something different, but then I got to go home and it's like, and my mom would say, well, Faccialonga, you're never happy. And I was like,
so what does Faccialonga mean? So for
a long face. I got a long
Yeah.
face, you know, you're just like,
Yeah.
and I didn't honestly think that that's what I had. You know, there was a few times my brother would say it, but I think he was just trying to, you know, support mom.
Hold on. Let me help you with that. Okay.
Yeah.
If your mom called you a fachalong and your brother said, yeah, you're a fachalong, he was a fachatost.
And he still is.
Call him that. See, Bruno says you're a fachatost.
Say a little louder, he's in the other room.
Fachatost.
Anyways, so yeah, like that's how I was explaining my story, that if Fachalonga was always long faced because I couldn't be who it is that I wanted to be. You know, I wasn't allowed to, and a lot of kids even today are not allowed to dream and imagine big.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we've got to follow that certain protocol. Get a good education, get married, have kids, blah blah blah.
Well, I'm actually not making light of it, but you did a very good job as far as I'm concerned. Like, what do I know about public speaking, really? But you did a really good job really illustrating what you were doing and what made you unhappy. And one of the things that you illustrated in your presentation is that you'd have to live this life and then you would go into your room and what would you do? I had a visual of that.
Oh, yes. What I did was, and I did this so much, I'd put the 45s on because, you know, that's the generation. And I would be singing and dancing in front of the mirror, listening into all the oldies. And I was pretending that I would be the next solid gold dancer superstar. And Sean Cassidy, who was my big crush back then, I was his one and only.
Oh, my God. That almost sounds like, do you remember Rosie O'Donnell having that crush on Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Do you remember that? Well, what are you doing this weekend, Rosie? Well, Tommy and I are like, but that was really, you know, it sounds funny to the crowd and maybe they think you're trying to get their attention and maybe it just went under the rug because they didn't get it. But that truly is what goes on, right? And that's when you start manifesting your true feelings when nobody's around. Isn't that's pretty sad, right?
It is sad. It is sad because we should be able to be like that and be who it is that we are with everybody, be genuine. And okay, so let me just backtrack here a little bit. So this is who I was as a child, learning to entertain myself pretty much. But then as I grow up, I squash all of that. And then let's say I meet you and you're just like, hey, you're like a ray of sunshine. And inside I'd be going, who are you to say that to me? Because I certainly don't feel it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard, as you know, when we're an adult, it's like, why are they saying these things to me? Because we're always going back to what it is, how we were raised, what we were told, what we created. As I did create a lot of those false beliefs myself. It is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
It's a challenge for all of us.
I was speaking to somebody in Toronto who's a former football player. Very, very, very good. I can say his name. And his brother and I are really good friends. So the Zizakovics, right? So Shreko and Lubo. And he didn't say the same thing you did, but it's the you know, it's the same principle is that, you know, don't do anything, just work, make the house, you know, go to work. Because the boys in the Italian families, yeah, you guys thought we had it easy too, but we had to go to work. We couldn't, you know, we couldn't bring home a Canadian girl. That was not my parents, by the way. Not on. If you bring a, you know, it was the box that we had to live in, right?
Yeah.
And it's very similar, but not as crazy as that. You know, the Zizakovic brothers, very accomplished football players. You know, Shreko's tall and Lubo's really tall, and there's like when you walk around, you're tall, they automatically assume you're a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
And so just because we walk around, and it goes the other way around too, because we walk around thinking that we can't live outside this box, even nicely. And then somebody gives you a compliment. That was a really good example that you gave, because, you know, when you were talking about you dancing in the room, if you can go back, right? And this is, remember I said I'd surprise you with some questions, is that it's great to say, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Now that you're armed with weapons of mass destruction and construction, you can destroy that and reconstruct you. Let's say I can bring you back. And what would you do different? Would you dance in the living room? Would you, I don't know, would you run away
I
from
would
home?
be dancing everywhere. Because
Yeah.
I love to dance, right? Like my one huge dream was also to be a dancer. And I did go and I learned to do the waltz and everything. 12 years ago? No, not quite that long ago. 8 years ago. And I did my first competitive ballroom dancing, which
Did you
was
like it?
amazing. Amazing. I love it. And that's what I would do. I'd be dancing everywhere. You know, when the food is good, I dance while I'm sitting there eating it because it brings me joy.
So
You
did
know?
you ever watch, obviously you watch Dancing with the Stars?
I used to in the beginning, but not
So
anymore.
the guy that does it, his name is Bruno something. He's a dance
Oh
master.
my
He's a
God.
little crazy. So it reminds me of a saying he said, and I can't remember who it was. I was just watching it, and he said, "You dance like you're a weapon of mass seduction." I like that one. But you know what? I went to couples ballroom dancing stuff, and
Nice.
I'm gonna throw a kudos out. I went with this other couple, Mario and Colleen Moretti, who are literally my favorite people in the world. And Mario is a soccer coach, soccer ref, he had an academy. He and I, like, we got in so much trouble because we tried to compare dancing to the steps that you need for sports. And we come up with the word like, oh, you mean my foot has to be in the bucket? And they, at the end of the day, all the couples wanted to hang out with us because we were so shitty, right? Like most of the women are good, but we were like doing robotic, and it is a lot of fun. So, did you ever join a dance troupe when you were younger, like the Italian Oompa dancers or something?
No, no.
So that's something you would have done.
That's what I would have done that.
What else
The
would you
only
have
thing
done?
I did that I was allowed to do was go to Italian school and learn how to, read and write and
Swear
all
in
that.
Italian.
Well, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. Come on.
No, but I'm just trying to show some of your viewers, possible clients of yours, to say, if you can do it back then, if you do it now, you could have done it back then. So would you, here's a hard question. Would you have, because you've gone to school, right? And you became a legal assistant. Would you have done that? No, not could you, but would you, now that you can go back, what would you do?
I would have stuck with being a teacher because that was my ultimate dream, right? Because you would find me playing teacher too when I was little. I had it all out. I had my chalkboard and everything. I always wanted to be a teacher. And I did go, and I was in my second year. And when they said, "Oh yeah, next year the union's going to come down the pipes,"
Oh, you
I
fell
said,
for it too.
"I'm out. I don't want to have anything to do with unions." Uh, I and see, and that was the Italian side of me. I didn't stop to say, "Oh wait, okay, what is this all about?" I just went, "Nope, I'm gone." But I could have stayed. This
Yeah.
is one regret I have, as I could have stayed. I could have gotten my teaching degree and worked in a charter school, in a private school, where I didn't have to deal with the unions.
And
But
that's
hey,
my point. That's my point, Susie. Okay. My point is what you're doing now, which I thought was amazing. And guess what? I'm not making this up. I just listened to you at the speech. Okay. Is that if you could do if you could do then what you're doing now, look at you. You're a teacher now.
yeah,
Took you a long way to get there. You dance because you go to Dancing with the Stars, not with Mario and me. But hey, listen, when Mario and I teach you how to dance, we know how to dance. And you can play soccer and football and baseball.
awesome, awesome.
3-in-1. So, but the other thing is that I guess that you, in other words, you delayed success at the end of the day.
Yep.
What do you think? Because we're always worried about our major influencers, our major, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but our parents. Like, we don't want to disappoint our parents. We don't want to disappoint our wives, our husbands, our kids. What do you look? You ended up being who you wanted to be. Doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
what do you think they would have done back then? Would they disowned you? Would have they thrown you out of the house? Or would have got the wooden spoon?
Well, I will say that I did threaten to leave the house, like to run away at one point. Mom's just like, Go. But remember, no coming back, eh?
That's exactly what my parents said. When you leave,
that's it. You're on your own. Would they have disowned me? No. Like, my mom was happy that I was pursuing teaching. She wanted that for me. But what she really wanted for me was to be a lawyer. She needed somebody to fight her battles for her in English. And so when I stopped being a teacher, I went into business instead initially. And she's just like, go be a lawyer, go be a lawyer. And I'm like, what did I do? I compromised. I became a legal assistant, paralegal, and I was working with lawyers. So I knew all about law to appease her, not to make me happy, make her happy. But of course, that wasn't good enough because I was just an assistant.
Susie, maybe you can't blame your mom. Okay?
No,
maybe she meant go get me an avocado for the salad. And you became a lawyer.
Well, yeah, she would have been happy if I married a good lawyer too.
Maybe she wanted you to be a cook. You misinterpreted. No, l'avocado.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so I got something for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this has been fun. Look at this.
Yes. The best is yet to come.
Okay, so this is one of your books. Like, this is just a notebook you were giving out.
Yeah.
Who bought all your books at the thing?
There was this guy that just came up to my table and he just started buying all of my journals and then going and bringing people back. I can't.
Show the journal. Do you have a journal there?
Not here. Hold on.
My God, how can you not have a journal? It's the coolest thing ever. I gave it to my son. I gave it to everybody.
My hardcover, but
take your time. We're not live on TV or anything.
That's my journal.
Open it up. So
it's a 3-month journal. You know, you just like write everything, follow the prompts, different quotes for each day, and it's 3 months.
You know what?
This color is for winter.
Yeah, but you have the purple one. Okay, listen, I'm not trying to shamelessly promote you, but I love the fact that you were giving away little books. I loved your speech. I love, everybody did a great job, by the way. And I came over and then, I'm thinking there's a couple of people at that conference. And I know I'm going to get them a little something for Christmas because they support my business. They support me, right? I'm like, what a great thing. And my family, I got them books. And then all of a sudden, your great assistant, Joanna, goes, sorry, sold out. Sold out? What the hell? You need some business help here. You got a buckle out like me buying these things. But you know what? It was, what am I going to buy people? Like, some of the people that were there, like Caitlin and all those people, right? I just want, and her production person, Enos, I don't know how much I drive her crazy. So it's not like, oh, look at me, but I'm like, what a great book. We're all organizers and it's a daily reminder. People call, oh, it's a courage journal. It's not a courage journal, but I just thought it was so nice of you to have all these things. And if I don't support you, you don't support me, who's the hell's going to support you, right? So let's talk about something, self-esteem, right? So how do these women, in this case, who have the symptoms and have had it, and they're going to, littlest hobo and put their thing on their thing and say, that's it, I'm out, I've had it. You're 20 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. And they see this video and they say, that's me. I'm going to come and see how are you, TGI, which, by the way, I was actually not disappointed. It's thank God it's Friday, but I actually thought it was tortellini, linguine, and salada. So I'm thinking she runs a restaurant. I need to talk to her. But TGI, but when they come to your, I guess, self-esteem restaurant, what do you do with them? What can they expect?
Well, we always start off with a discovery call, right? Because I really want to learn from them what it is that they're putting in front of themselves, stopping themselves from moving forward. And then questioning, okay, well, this is not what you do want. What's the opposite of that? Where is it that you do want to go? And then from there, we discuss, how do you want to work one-on-one? Do you want to work in a group environment? Do you want to just do stuff on your own, but have me there to guide you at the same time? Whatever their preference is. I like the community-based things personally because you have other women to kibitz with and to, just hear their story and what they did and how they overcome and support one another that way. But it's all to each own's preference.
So you bring them in, and what is it? Typically a 2-month course, 3-month. There might be a day. What is it? Do you have like actual courses?
Have the one-on-one would be what they want. Do they want it 10 times? Do you want it 2 months? Do you want it 3 months? That's something that we discuss and work out. I do have a 6-month program, and then I also have my membership-based program where it's month to month. So you buy the subscription. And every week you've got homework to do. We've got live calls that we get together on. And then there's the ones that they do by themselves, like self-study programs. So I do have one that's for self-image that they do by themselves, but they also have me for 30 minutes to guide them through whatever.
You know what, Susie, like we joke around a lot. We don't know each other that well or anything like that, but we do joke around. We have a connection. Yeah. And I think one of the things I'd like to drive home to you is that there's sarcasm and funny, and we look back, but when there's a reason why I had you on the program is not because you were really funny and you were really relevant in your stories and everything like that. But the main reason is I know you solve a big problem, and I never mess around and never interrupt anybody when it's a real problem. And this is a big problem because unhappy people in the world, no fun, right? And so, but what do you tell? Here's the last question before I do what I want to do. Okay. I'm the boss to some of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So, but what do you tell people? Like, you weren't like 14 or 12 years old and said, I want to run away from home. You're not mature enough to figure that out because your parents are doing, let's face it, our parents, they knew what they were doing, bringing up polite kids and all that kind of stuff. What do you tell a kid that's like 18 or 19 or a young adult, 18, 19, 20, 21, still living at their house, at their parents' house or something, and they go, I need more from life, and my parents are that. What do you tell them?
Oh my God, these kids today. Okay, that's a loaded question because.
Well, you're the professional. What the heck?
Yeah, but there's different types of children. Okay, so I'm going to look at my niece and my nephew. Love them to bits. But holy cannoli, please, can you get some gumption in your life? It's not all about this phone. First off, put the damn phone away. Right? Grab a book, start writing. Write out what it is that you want your life to look like. Mm-hmm. Kids today are so wound up on their phones, they don't know what it is that they want. Yeah. I asked my niece when she was 17, if you could pick one thing to do this year as a 17-year-old, what would be the greatest thing you can have? I don't know. Me? You get to do whatever it is that you want to do. You're not raised the way I was raised. You have free will, and you don't even know what it is that you want to do.
But, to that point, that's not my point, but that's what I've observed. I'd rather hang out with younger people than older people if they'll let me hang out with them. Yeah. Because they dream more if you allow them the space. And something was told to me by one of my really close, I guess, friends. And they said, you know what, kids these days, because somebody was not arguing, but complaining about Gen X and Gen Y and Gen Narula, whatever. And I'm like, I actually don't really mind talking to them. I mean, don't mind. I'd rather talk to them. And my business partner always says, Miranda, she's like, can you pay attention and not play with the kids? We're having a meeting, right? I'm like, or dogs. Oh my God, I chase dogs all in the meeting. Don't bring one of those. So but what I'm saying is that I'd rather, because I learned from the young people, but this one person said the reason, the thing we have to remember, and I bought into this, was they hear different, they speak different, they look different, and they talk different, but they feel the same way we did. Yeah. Like our inner feelings, they're sad like we were,
Mhm.
But so we have to figure out a way for them to listen, to talk to us, and to look at us. Because unfortunately for me, I still think I'm 22 years old, both physically and mentally, right?
Yeah, I get
And
it.
one of the greatest things that I have a physical trainer. I have to go see a physical trainer. I don't know if you met the trainer, but my trainer said, your mind goes 800 miles an hour. Your body will never keep up. So as
Yeah.
we get older, we have these crazy thoughts about quitting the law firm and this and that and the other thing, but maybe our body can't do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the difference is those kids. I mean, and I'm glad you said that, is because you have no limitations as kids now, almost do whatever, and especially with helicopter parents like we are. Oh my God. Oh, you want to go to Greece? Oh my God. Let's find a way to go to,
Yeah. It's completely different from how you and I were raised, right? It's like, hey, you got to do this, do that. No, now it's like, what do you want to do? You want to do that? Okay, let's go and do it.
Yeah.
Because you want to give them the world.
Sei pronte? That means, are you ready?
Yeah.
Now we're going to get into the zone. It's called rapid fire, and I'm going to ask you questions. You have 3 months for each question. No, 2 seconds. First thing comes to mind is take a deep breath. Ready?
Yeah.
Free food.
Free food?
No.
Pizza.
Favorite food.
Oh my God, favorite food. Why do you guys answer me these questions? Let's go with pizza. I love
pizza.
food
That's
in
good.
general.
Okay,
Like,
so here's
I
what
don't
I'm going
care.
to tell you. You know what? My mom, and if you get to know my mom, you know this story is not true. She always said, always do the right thing, or else you know it's going to show up out of nowhere? The slipper. Okay? Whoop, it hits you. Okay? And had you said sushi, you would have got the slipper in the head right there. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2, favorite. Do you have a favorite restaurant in town or in the world?
It's Chairman's in Mahogany.
Oh, really? A little plug there, eh? That'll get you a free pizza.
No, I don't think they do pizza, but they make
What do they?
steak really good.
Okay, so send them a copy of this. You'll get a free steak. We'll go for steak.
Okay,
And
I
give them
will.
all this free advertising. Okay, favorite movie. And if you don't get this one, I know you're not Italian.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not an Italian. La Vita è Bella is a good one, but that's not my favorite movie.
You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be one of my favorite movies. Go ahead. Don't guess mine. What's yours?
It's what the heck is it called now? It's one with
Oh, I can see it's your favorite movie.
Dolly Parton. Because the name always slips me. It's Dolly Parton, Julia Roberts, and Olivia Dukakis. It always slips my name always slips my tongue. But anyways,
okay. We'll come back to that one.
We'll come back to that one. I might have to go and pull out the DVD.
You might want to watch the beginning of it.
Yeah, no, I know the beginning. When Julia Roberts and Sally Field was her mom. Oh my God.
That's not Goodfellas, is it?
No, not Goodfellas.
How come you didn't pick Moonstruck?
That was a good movie too, but it doesn't get me in the feels like.
Yeah. But you know what? Moonstruck is a unbelievable movie.
It
that
is.
how we all grew up if you were really Italian. That was other than New York, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? So
it is.
Okay, favorite attore, attrice. You just named 3.
Yeah, that's true. But I would have to say, sorry, Carol Burnett, because she makes me.
Oh.
Yes.
Remember that? I'm old enough. I'm from the vintage.
Oh, I love Carol Burnett.
Geez, that's great. I haven't had that one yet, and she was. We used to watch that. I used to like be sad for 2 reasons. The show was over, and I had to go to bed, or else. Right? Okay. Actually, I'm going to bring this slipper every time in my show, and if you don't listen, I'm going to give you the slipper in the head on the video. Okay.
Spoon.
Favorite band.
Loverboy.
Oh, okay. Favorite song favorite singer other than Sean Cassidy.
Well, he wasn't really a singer. Favorite singer, Adele.
Adele. Okay. Favorite song.
Oh, God, there's so many of them.
Any tarantella from the weekend?
Yeah. Now, you know what? I'm just gonna go to my old Loverboy song, "Working for the Weekend."
Okay. Where have you traveled that's been your favorite place?
Italy, hello.
Really? Which part?
Venice,
Venice, eh?
Verona,
Hey,
Tuscany.
second person in a row that said Venice in my shows. I
Oh,
don't think these
really?
shows actually go in any kind of order, but
Yeah.
because our producers pick and choose which ones go first, second, third. But yeah, Venice. I've never been.
Venice to me, because we're like literally 40 minutes away, my family is 40 minutes away from Venice. It's like me going to Banff here. Banff is my favorite place to go to when I'm here. Venice, hands down.
Wow. Okay, bucket
Yeah.
list for me. Where would you like to travel that you haven't been to?
Spain,
Okay,
all over Spain.
I heard it's nice. Okay, ready? Somebody that you would like to meet today that's alive. Anybody?
Anybody? Leah Remini.
Why? And what would you ask?
Oh, uh, her story about Scientology, like I've watched the whole thing. I would just, there's so much I would ask her about that and then some, and then just, talk about how it was growing up in the New Jersey, going up there and
You know what I think the first thing you would ask is, anybody sitting there? I need to talk to you, right? That's what the first thing you say. Second thing, somebody who's, I guess, passed away, all time, ever, forever, ever, you would like to meet. And what would you ask that person?
So somebody I've not met.
Mhm.
I would say
No, not that you haven't met, that's passed away.
that's passed away. Oh, okay. My grandpa, my dad's dad.
What would you ask? That's my thing. Not my grandfather, but I went a little deeper because I had met my grandfather and great grandfather.
Yeah. Well, he passed away when I was 12, so
Yeah.
I would say, just tell me about your life. Tell me about your life.
So did he live in Canada?
No,
Always in Italy, eh?
he was always in Italy, but I do know that he worked in Africa. He built roads there.
Ooh.
So I'd want to know about that. He was in Germany when Hitler decided to just bring everybody. This was just before the war was over. Both my grandfather and three of my aunts were rounded up and put into camp. I would ask him about that. Yeah, there's so much I would ask him about.
That's great. That's very touching. Do you follow sports at all?
I used to be a hockey fan, and sometimes I'll do soccer, but I got better
Favorite
things to
team?
do.
Maybe the Flame. I say this all. Yeah, I say this all the time. Once you get into business, you don't care about sport. I don't know what it is. Me too, right?
Who's
So you
got
don't
the
have time.
time?
Yeah. Who's got the time to dream and be on the ice? So
Yeah.
if you were, here's another question. If you were back then able to be a singer, what would your band be called?
Oh,
And what genre of music would you sing?
you know what? I would have to say country because I tend to,
No way.
my voice goes better country than, I have a good voice, but country's the way to go. And
So you lost your dog, you drank too much,
no,
and your
it
boyfriend
would be a
left you.
little bit harder than that. Maybe country rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I joke around with my son all the time because he's always like, I like country. I go, so you lost your dog and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, your
are you
banjo
ready?
broke. I don't know what I'd call the name. I don't know. Susie Q's. Who knows?
Susie and the country cannolis. Okay.
There we go.
So okay, you get to ask me one question before I go.
One question, Bruno.
It's
If
not a
you
question.
could have anything in the world that you wanted, what would it be?
What's that?
If you could have one thing that you would want, anything in the world, at this moment, right now, what would it be?
Oh, that's really, 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 really easy. Can I just kind of go two because it's really for two people or for people is I just want my family, I know it sounds hokey pokey. I really, every day, I hope they're healthy. And so if I could get one thing for me is to have as perfect health as I can, because once you lose your health, I went through a couple things. Everybody would go through a couple things, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm just like, oh God, and like my trainer only says, like, it's like your mind goes so fast in your head, but your body can't keep up. Right. Yeah. And I know when you look at this, you think Roadrunner, but I'm more of a coyote. Okay. It's it just goes slower and slower. Yeah, exactly. And you never catch the Roadrunner. But for me, that's the one thing that I'll never take for granted ever, 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 ever again. Because as you get older, just if I can add to that, you don't mind if I add to that, is as you get older, I've learned that, what, today I'm going to sleep in because my finger hurts, because tomorrow's going to get better. That self-healing thing we take for granted. Now, oh my God, like I hurt my back or something because I've had history of surgeries and stuff like that. Before it was like, oh, 2 weeks from now I'll feel a little bit better. And now it's like 2 weeks. Shit. So I wish I have, don't know real complaints, but I'd like to go from 65% on average every day to 95, And I think my mind clears up a little bit better. You get up a little bit earlier because I don't think ambition is ever going to be missing in my life. I'm always thinking of doing stuff. But so was this okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
And I really encourage, I don't know where you pick up these magazines, but this is a really good magazine. This is the second one I had. And go to page 124 on your FM dial. Is that, you got the right one? Yeah, right there. Right? That's a nice necklace. That's a big heart.
Thank you.
Where do you buy?
I don't even know where I buy that one.
Oh, you steal them up. Okay.
It might have just slipped into my pocket. Who knows?
So they don't have metal They don't have metal detectors at Nordstrom or wherever you buy these things. People's, but Susie, you know what? This has been 10 out of 10, and I think because of your inspiration, I'm gonna adopt a new thing in my program. Is the Golden Slipper Award.
Yes.
And if you're a good guest, you don't get the slipper. If you're a bad guest,
perfect.
You get the slipper. So you don't get the slipper. So that's a compliment.
Awesome. I love that.
I dropped the slipper. You know how you mic drop? This is going to be a slipper drop.
Slipper drop.
Yeah, so you get the slipper. You get the first slipper drop. Boom. Okay, so you don't get it in the head. So, and for our non-Italian viewing folks, you have no idea what we're talking about, right? Like, we never feared nonna. We feared the slipper coming from nonna, right?
The slipper, the cook spoon, like you never know. Is she pulling out that cook spoon to whisk something, or is it to beat me?
Susie, I can tell you honestly a story. My parents went out and I did something. I was a little kid. They went to a wedding and I spilled model paint, and I can prove it. My cousin was babysitting us, and my dad said, "Don't paint your stupid car model on the new carpet." Please, I'm skilled. I'm 10 years old. What are we having this conversation for? So sure enough, boom, blue paint. So my poor cousin Franca and my sister Franca, and I don't know who else they engaged. We were trying to take this out before my parents show up. They go, "Why aren't you helping?" "I'm doing something very important." So you know what I did? I went into the drawers, hid all the wooden spoons because I knew I was going to get it. Right? Yeah. People don't understand this. I knew I was going to get it. So, they come back from the wedding and I'm pretending I'm in bed, and how'd it go? Oh, my cousin Franca, God bless her. Oh, everything, well, they were good. Then my dad goes out, so he comes back up and I hear the shuffling, and they weren't violent, but I was get threatened with it at least. Nothing. And my mom goes, "That's okay. I have some in the car." Because they had gone to the supermarket before they went to the wedding to buy new ones because they were making sauce. And I'm like, who would have thought they would have gone to the freaking store to buy some auxiliary backup beater-upper freaking spoons? So
our moms were always thinking.
Oh, my mom. Like, it was just like as if for nothing. No, it's okay. Ce l'ho in la macchina. Like, how the hell do you have some in the car? Anyways.
Yeah.
So beware. Here's the last thing I can tell you. we're talking about Italia, we're gonna have fun. You know how they say nowadays people have, guns in their glove compartment and stuff like that?
Yeah,
The Italians have those wooden spoons running around. They're
that's right.
registered with the FBI, these things. So,
Yeah,
but
and you know what the difference is between the spoons then and now? Those ones broke. They don't break so much now.
I know, poor kids. No wonder they're scared. They have those.
Yeah.
But how do they get in touch with you? In all seriousness.
Hey, go over to my website, TGIFreedom.com, and just take a boo, and you'll find where you can contact me on there.
Okay, that's great. Susie, I know we joke, but there's no joke about what you do. And God bless you for all the work you're doing with the women that need your help. And you know what? That's fantastic. So thank you very much for blindly accepting my invitation for a nutty, it's Friday today. So a nutty Friday, TGI. How do you see how that turned around?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
TGI
fantastic.
Friday.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys
Bruno.
next time.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.